Guys, look what drops. The complete history of 2018. Jesus, man, this is the third year of Dokkan. By the time it was 2018, I was a senior in high school. Damn, didn't we all peak at that time? I'm kidding. But it is good to relive this and react to history way back when. This is almost 8 years ago, by the way. This is over 8 years ago, which is crazy. Because we're now at the point where when LR Dokkan Fest became an actual thing, which is crazy because at that time, who the hell would drop an LR as a Dokkan Fest, right? It's crazy. On top of that, fusions. I think this was the first time they dropped both fusions at the same time for anniversary, which is complete hype, by the way. And keep in mind, 2018 stuff, it was all peak, all literal peak. And on top of that, they continued the category crap that they started. And at least it's gotten better at that time. Anyways, let's watch this. Shout out to Shikra for making these videos. They're very good and very informative, in fact, educational too. So if you really want to learn about the history of Dokkan in a yearly aspect in one video, would highly recommend watching these videos. They are very good. All right, let's watch it. Oh, dude, year 3 of Dokkan. That's crazy.
The third anniversary debuted the first Dokkan Fest LRs into the game. LR Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta that fused into Super Vegito, and LR Super Saiyan
Oh my god.
Super Saiyan Angel
What a
Vegeta
time.
Super
And these guys were the best LRs, by the way.
were a new mechanic introduced with these two new LRs.
I feel like when they introduced transformations in this kind of era, they weren't too bad. We all speculated how transformations would go in the first place.
Vegeta would fuse into Super Vegito and Super Gogeta respectively. These transformations could link with other cards of the same name, as well as with identical cards in their untransformed.
That is true. They did make it that so you can link post-transformation units with pre-transformation units or existing units that already have that name.
Onto the units themselves, LR Vegito gave Potara category allies 3 key,
Which Potara back then was still a pretty small category. Same thing with fusions. But Int had a pretty huge advantage, if I remember. Fusion had a slightly larger category on initial release, but thanks to Gogeta, it just made it better. Oh yeah, they were both almost exactly the same.
20% at the start of turn, and received an additional 2 key per rainbow key sphere obtained.
Back then, this was probably the best passive you would ever see. The only major issue is that these units back then, they were too good. And on top of that, Super Battle Road existed. And usually with Super Battle Road, you want to beat enemies fairly quickly. Considering that their fusion can only be done when HP is less than 50% and starting from the 6th turn, that rarely ever occurred. This Potara fusion and regular fusion, it rarely occurred. But these two were still really good LRs at the time. The categories are great, the units you can run under them are pretty great, and that's all about it. But post fusion, of course, they're insane. They're basically almost identical, except Vegito had counters.
Despite being very simple, they had some of the best defenses out of any LR to date.
Well, it's an LR unit. They have really high stats.
Key supers, which they could get more consistently than other LRs. They were supremely powerful and became even crazier once they transformed into their fused states.
That's exactly right.
Vegeta and Super Vegito both fully recovered HP when they came.
Oh yeah, they healed. That's right.
150% attack and defense at the start of turn. Their key mechanic also became stronger, now providing an additional 3 key per rainbow key sphere obtained.
Keep in mind they had no
The
rainbow orb
last part of
changing.
their passive completely separated these two units from not only the rest of the game, but also from each other. Gogeta was super effective against all types.
Yeah, he had the
essentially
Gogeta aspect,
making
of
him
course.
a more overpowered version of Int Super Gogeta. He was capable of dealing more damage than LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku on average.
Oh,
and
look at
would
these
have easily
animations
been
way
the
back
best
when,
unit
bro.
in
They
the
look like
game
almost
upon transforming.
fucking a
If LR
slideshow,
Super
PowerPoints
Vegito didn't
almost,
exist,
but
for
more
whatever
smooth.
reason, Dokkan decided to give Vegito the ability to counter normal attacks, just like AGL and physical Super Vegito, which propelled
His stats were
damage
also really
output
high,
to
so his counters
ludicrous
were
levels.
amazing.
Gogeta was calculated to have an average attack of 3.5 million, whereas Vegito was calculated to have an average attack of 5.8 million.
Which is
He could
insane, by
output
the way.
almost twice as much damage as LR
That's the
Super
reason
Saiyan
why
3
people pulled for
Goku and Super
Vegito a lot more than Gogeta.
making Vegito far and away the most ridiculous card in the game.
I also tried pulling for
What
Vegito, but I went for
prevented these
Gogeta
units from
instead, just
completely
because
breaking
I've...
the game
What you call
was
it?
the fact that it was
In...
incredibly rare to see these LRs transform. As
Let
almost no
me stop right
traits
here very
could even
quickly. In recent years of Dokkan, I've always been able to pull a Gogeta. Now, recently, I have not been able to. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's not my luck anymore. I go for any other unit, but Gogeta has always been there. If I see a Gogeta banner, I summon. If I summon, I can get him fairly quickly. Same concept right here. It did take me a little bit for JP, but I think on global, I was just like, that's it. Got him.
even survived 6 turns against the Fusion and Potara teams.
Oh, let me also turn
Both
on...
teams faced very little difficulty against all the events in the game, with many of the best units in the game being a part of these categories. The Potara team consisted of the 2 hardest hitting TURs in the game, Tech Vegito Blue and Physical Super Vegito.
He's not
as
wrong.
well
They were
as
both really
STR
good,
Rose,
and he had
who
Rose.
was considered a contender for best overall TUR. The Fusion team had access to Int Super Gogeta, Physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who were now the 3rd, 4th, and 5th hardest hitting TURs in the game, due to now having access to a 170% attack lead. AGL Super Vegito was also now the 6th hardest hitting TUR in the game, and was a powerhouse on the Potara team, which was considered even stronger than the Fusion team.
That sounds about
Despite
right.
their inability to transform often, the 3rd anniversary LR's base forms were more than competent enough to be considered the best units in the game.
Like I said,
LR Super
the
Vegito
Fusion
and Super Gogeta would
or
remain
transformation part of the
relevant for a
aspect of
very
these
long
two,
time.
they were
The
already
3rd
difficult enough as
anniversary
is.
brought back many of the events introduced
Oh
during
yeah,
the
they did
2nd
introduce Purunga
anniversary.
stuff too, right?
They released a new ticket banner during the countdown period,
Which was fine.
every LR up until LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku unfeatured on the banner.
I don't think I've
The
pulled an
tickets
LR
this
out of
time
those.
around could be used whenever you wanted while the banner was up, and weren't tied to specific days. The 3rd anniversary login card was a Super Saiyan 3
Did I
Goku
ever
logo
rainbow
of
this
3
guy? I probably
fingers.
didn't.
He was a solid
No.
option on Super Saiyan 3 teams, with his 33% attack and defense support for Super Saiyan 3 category allies.
Oh yeah, that's
They also brought
right.
back the Red Dragonstone and introduced a new Purple Dragonstone that could be bought from the shop and exchanged
If you had
for
money,
any
that
god
is.
leader of your choice. Alongside the LRs, the dual Dokkan Fest banners featured 4 new
Oh yeah, that's
SSRs
right. I
and
forgot
Goku
about
and
these
Vegeta's
guys.
iconic bouts.
If only they
These 4
allowed Super
SSRs
ECAs
were all
on banner
very
units,
decent,
this would
with Super Saiyan 2
those
Goku
4
and
would have been
Physical Vegeta
amazing.
standing out from the 4 due to being more defensively oriented than their counterparts. Keeping with the Namek theme from the countdown images, many of the events and characters released during the 3rd anniversary were related to the Planet Namek saga.
Yeah,
They introduced Purunga wishes into the game, and every day, you could collect 1 Dragon Ball by following the hint posted in-game. Purunga would grant you 3 wishes every time he was summoned, and you could summon Purunga up to 3 times during the campaign period.
how
for a
many
total of
times
9
were we allowed
wishes.
to summon for
You could wish
Purunga
for
during the
potential
recent
orbs,
celebrations? Like
Kais,
once or
Zenin,
twice?
support items, training
Well, to keep in
items,
mind that the
awakening
rewards were
medals, and good
amazing
incredible
compared to back
gems,
then.
allowing players to gain valuable resources in bulk.
Let's see, which ones were the most struggling to get? Potential orbs. Definitely potential orbs were the most struggle to get since they were pretty scarce. So if it was me back in 2018, number 1 would be that. Grand guys would be another. And if I wanted to do more, I guess I could just go straight for maybe incredible gems, maybe. Or if I needed Zenny, I could just go for this. But yet again, you could farm up along the way, so you don't actually have to go for it. But probably the support items because of Super Battle Road. Well, these two are like the top priority back then.
They also held a stamina campaign and gave out a new free-to-play Namek Goku as a reward.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about this guy. He did Easy A.
But the bigger standout for free-to-play players was Namek Saga Kid Gohan.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's right. Was it?
Namek Saga story event. And he
had his own exclusive orbs. He did that Extreme Z battle event, which I believe was 100 stages long. But you do the first 30 to get 30 stones and him done, his EZA done. Which, he's a nuker. But he's not too bad. He's not too bad as of 2018 standards.
He could hit quite hard and was a great option for newer players.
True.
However, in the same way Kid Gohan took the spotlight from Goku, Dokkan released a new batch of units that overshadowed every other free-to-play unit in the game.
It was a Ginyu Force. Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember these. I remember this. But now they're available every day.
As well as their own exclusive orbs. AGL Birder stacked defense on Super and had a high chance to evade
which is very good,
enemies'
actually.
attacks after attacking in slot 1. He could easily get caught by supers in slot 1 before attacking, but he was still a solid tank. Tech Goldo was a debuffer who had a medium chance to stun on super, and
Which is also very good for Extreme Tech since they were lacking an Extreme Tech unit. Since Extreme Tech was lacking characters in that category.
70% attack and defense when only facing one enemy.
He was decent for SBR.
When facing 2 or more enemies. He was fantastic in Super Battle Road.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he's pretty decent for it.
Super Battle Road teams. STR Jace was a support unit.
Jace is pretty good too, having a scouter effect, which I believe is the first time they they had a unit for scouter effects.
Lastly, Physical Raccoon gained 80% defense at the start of turn, and gained 14% attack for every attack received, up to a maximum of 70%. He didn't have a standout gimmick like the other Ginyu Force units, and relied on his solid attack and defense stats to get by. The Ginyu Force team was a godsend for new players, and was the first cohesive free-to-play team that could clear most of the events in the game.
He is not wrong.
They also revealed info about Dokkan Battlefield 2.0, which
Yup.
was officially released in the middle of March. This new Battlefield was a much simpler version of the original Battlefield released during the second
I wish they kept that.
anniversary.
I wish they did.
Completely scrapped the tower defense aspect of that mode. All you had to do now was make a team of 7 from your pool of 100 characters to take on the boss.
They did
And
up
you
the
would do
count.
this until you defeated all 8 bosses.
They changed the format and they changed the amount of units that you were able to bring in nowadays. I think they brought it back down to this kind of format actually, but many battlefields before this or after this too. I believe the count for rounds was 2, 3, and 4, if I remember correctly. So you're facing 2 enemies, one regular enemy and 1 boss. Level 2 would be 2 enemies and 1 boss. Level 3 would be 4. No, actually, level 3 would be 5 enemies because you have 4 regular enemies and 1 main boss, which they still give you the same amount of rewards for battlefield currency and all that stuff. So the fact that they went from this to then bumping up the enemy count and unit count to then going back down to this sort of similar format, but then still keep that unit count going from 100 to 112 essentially, which I think is good. Back then it was a little bit of a struggle because you had, well, it's not technically a struggle, it just had to be really good at team building. The way that I did it back then was, well, this wasn't really a formula back then, but in my case, I just bring an even amount of units from each typing. So 10 extreme, 10 super of each of that until I can bring in 100. Bring those guys in and I just sweep. I was able to probably do most of it, But nowadays, there's a formula that's pretty easy to tell where, I think for most battlefield stages where the first enemy and the last enemy have the same matching types. So whichever one, usually what I would go for is super class had the most for that typing, and then I just only ran one team of extreme, and I just divvied out throughout the rest of the typings. So that's how I did it. But it did change here and there, but I think they finally made it consistent, I guess. I haven't kept track, but they did change the unit count. They did change the amount of enemies that are in battlefield. And they did up the what's called the rewards.
The event was still challenging for many players due to the sheer number of decent
Hold on,
characters you needed to conquer the event. But it was still much easier to grasp and clear than the original Battlefield.
True.
This event also came with a new free-to-play LR tech Ginyu Force.
Which back then it was still good. They are technically still good if you just run full Ginyu Force.
Making him the perfect leader for the free-to-play Ginyu Force units. He gave extreme class allies 30% to attack and defense, and an additional 20% attack and defense to Ginyu Force category allies. He was a good tank, and his offense was impressive enough to allow him to be one of the hardest hitting units in the game. Dokkan absolutely delivered with LR Ginyu and the
Because how many units did they release? They released
units. But there was still one
8
major
free-to-play
glaring
units.
flaw with this celebration.
Really?
And that was the lack of content. The only event during Part 2 was the Planet Namek Saga Extreme Z battle, which was very lackluster in terms of rewards.
Yeah, he's also not wrong.
Challenging events for players to test out the 3rd anniversary headliners, which greatly disappointed players. Battlefield 2.0 wasn't officially part of the 3rd anniversary.
Yeah, it came out after.
No new event or character released for over 3 weeks after the debut of the free-to-play Ginyu Force. Instead, they decided to rerun 5 legendary summon banners.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
First 5 summonable LRs.
Oh my god.
Many of these LRs were never featured on a banner before, so Dokkan decided to fill this 3-week gap with these banners, so players could summon on the LRs that they did.
Wow, what a greedy way to
players,
bring.
However, couldn't care less, and were
Yeah,
reaching their breaking point over halfway through this waiting period. The game was drier than the Sahara Desert, and interest was quickly fading.
Damn.
Unfortunately, Dragon Ball fans still had the Dragon Ball Super anime to keep their hype alive.
True.
As the final battle of the anime unfolded,
Oh,
the
that's
penultimate
right.
episode of Dragon Ball Super aired
That's
on
right.
March
Saiyan Day
18th,
was
and
approaching,
on that
right?
same day, Dokkan players were hit with pure shock upon opening the game.
Yes. Oh shit. You know, that's awesome. I wish they did that more. But yes, they really brought in MUI Goku. It's MUI Goku, which by the way, he's super easy 8 already. He's amazing as fuck. And back when he released, he was amazing as fuck as well, dude. But he wasn't the first unit to release in Saiyan Day.
And had the ability to transform into Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku.
Dude, what a time, man. I don't think I had that Goku too.
Attack and defense at the start of turn, and transformed into UI Goku when HP was 50% or less. At first glance, UI Sign Goku seemed like a slight downgrade from his SSR version, losing his dodge chance and base in exchange for slightly higher stats. But people quickly learned how wrong they were. Goku's transformation was very easy to see, as there was no turn restriction attached to it. And at this point in the game, it was fairly common to get below 50% HP without dying. Once transformed, UI Goku gained 3 ki and 150% attack, while having a 70% chance to evade enemies' attacks.
Which is also huge, by the way.
He also disabled enemies' guard when attacking, which meant that if he attacked a physical enemy, he would damage them as if he was type neutral against them. He also kept the ability to stack attack on Super from his base form, which allowed UI Goku to deal great damage once transformed. Many players were initially upset that UI Goku lost his defense buff once transformed, but he was actually one of the most competent defensive units in the game.
That's not wrong. Dodge is also a defensive mechanic, but back then, dodge canceling never existed. So y'all were free to dodge with him whatever.
On average, UI Goku's increased dodge chance did in fact outweigh the loss of his defense buff. He was a dominant force in Super Battle Road.
That's also true. Because once you transform into UI Goku, or MUI
which
Goku,
was now the new hardest event in the game after Super Battle Road. His Dokkan event consisted of 5 phases, with phase 3 being a Spirit Bomb Goku.
Oh yeah,
and
so what's called it?
Super attack.
Let's call
The
it a
strategy
turn
for
one,
this
a turn
phase was
one
to either
kill.
stun or seal him, or use a Ghost Usher and kill Goku as fast as possible. The final 2 phases were some of the highest HP bosses in the game, and UI Goku at the end could attack up to 8 times within a turn. This event also came with 3 new Dokkan Awakenings of older SSRs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
STR Super Saiyan Blue Goku was decent after becoming a TUR, but the more
Did
interesting
did they
units were
all
the 2
EZA?
God Gokus. Both AGL and STR God Goku
I forget
had
if
the
they all
same leader
EZA'd. I
skill
think
and
they
passive,
did.
gaining 80% attack and defense when performing a super. But what separated these 2 units were their links and super attack effects. AGL God Goku stacked attack on super, whereas STR God Goku raised attack and defense by 30% for 3 turns, making him a more competent defensive unit. Additionally, STR God Goku
You
possessed
can
the
link
first
him with
awakened
that,
link,
with
which he
what's called
shared
it, with UI Goku.
making them great linking partners. Alongside UI Goku, they released a new story event that
Oh
came with new
yeah, you can Dokkan Awaken
Universe 6
Kale and
Saiyans.
Caulifla.
Caulifla was slightly powered up from her SSR state, and with her high chance to dodge and medium chance to counter supers, she became one of the best banner units in the game. Physical Kale wasn't as impressive,
Yeah.
but she could dish out a lot of damage with her
So they
immense
both
damage
EZA'd.
super and
And
her
now Kale
ability
can
to
tank
super
and
attack
Caulifla can still
multiple
dodge.
times. Physical Kefla also received a Dokkan Awakening into
Oh,
a TUR,
and now she became a
was on
more
the level of a
competent
Dokkan
Batara,
Fest exclusive
Batara lead.
character.
My
Her
god.
additional attack was changed from a medium chance to be a super to a high
But once she
chance,
EZA'd,
and
I
her
think she
new
became a
key
little
passive
better,
was also
if I remember
increased
correctly.
from 10% attack and defense per physical key sphere to 12% for any key sphere she obtained. These minor changes, in tandem with her stat increases after awakening, made Kefla a very powerful card. The last thing to mention from this celebration is Jiren.
Oh,
who, like
Jiren,
Kefla
that's
and UI
right.
Goku,
Fuck, I forgot
debuted
about
into the
that.
game as an SSR. Jiren was the leader for the Universe Survival Saga category. And
We
was
didn't
a
Dokkan
great
Awaken
Super
yet till
Battle Road
Vegeta
unit
came
with
out,
his
right?
medium chance to stun all enemies at the start of turn. His SSR state gained 120% attack
I
and
think I
defense at
pulled
the
him.
start of turn. So people were anticipating his TUR to gain 150% or more to stats, which greatly excited players. Almost a week later, JP officially released LR Vegito.
Yeah.
Global players were finally able to acquire him in the middle of February, and he more than made up for the 7 months of pain global players had to endure. He had an incredible leader skill, giving superclass allies 3 key and 70%
yeah,
stats.
remember this
He
guy?
stacked attack and defense
Oh,
on
when
12
he EZA'd,
making him the
everyone
first
bashed on
LR
his
to stack
ass,
on
and
super,
look what
and he
happened.
greatly raised attack for 1 turn.
Plus, he did
18
stack.
key super. Furthermore, Vegito Blue gained 80% attack and defense at the start of turn, and gained more key the less HP you had remaining, up to a maximum of 10 key. As per usual,
There's one thing that hold on. There's one thing that I do want to mention. If you do plan on using him in long content back then, like long content as in like multi-phase content, I would always prioritize going for his 12 key more than his 18 key, because then if you did enough 12 key stacks, you could actually you actually do more damage on his 18 key. I always recommend it that way, just because of how he works. Issue, probably number one issue, and it won't come up too often if you were playing back then compared to now, is the key. If this was the other way around, or if they made it stacking on 12 stacking on 12 and 18 keys straight up, the key wouldn't be an issue. Well, technically it is. Technically, just because of how he works. But back then, I would just always prioritize stacking. Don't worry about the key. Just worry about trying to get his 12 key. That's all you need. But he was still a very good free-to-play LR though. Would highly recommend. Back
You
when,
had
back when,
remaining
of
up
course.
to a maximum of 10 key. As per usual, people greatly underestimated LR Vegito Blue based on his details, and deemed him mediocre due to the lack of any counters and additional supers in his kit.
Bullshit.
However,
Bullshit. He was a free-to-play
Vegito
unit,
Blue
a
was
free-to-play
perhaps the
LR.
greatest free-to-play unit in the history of the game. At the Rainbow level, LR Vegito Blue was calculated to hit harder than Tech Vegito Blue at 55%, and Physical Vegito Blue at 79%. On top of this, he was far more competent defensively than the other two Vegito Blues, and could
True.
tank exceptionally well for a free-to-play unit. The final advantage Vegito Blue had was his link set. When LR Vegito Blue's details were initially released, he possessed the Over and a Flash link, but this was changed to Prepared for Battle on release. This
Huh?
was far better for LR
Oh.
Vegito Blue.
Well,
as he
I
was
guess it
able
makes
to link
sense, right?
better
You
on
throw him
the
onto the
Patara
Patara team
than
and he
Tech
can work.
Vegito
He can
Blue,
link pretty well.
and he was often the better choice on that team as a result. He was an absolute monster on every team he was ran on, and performed exceptionally well in every difficult event. The only thing that players were ultimately upset by was his grind. You needed 6 Fierce Battle units of every type, or a total of 30 Fierce Battle units, in order to complete the mission
Oh,
to
that's
obtain
right.
Vegito Blue's medals. This wasn't so bad for long-time players, but for newer players, this grind was almost impossible to
Yup.
complete, as you needed a box full of TURs that possessed the Fierce Battle link, which mainly consisted
There's
of
some,
summonable
what you call it?
units.
I think
At the
some
end of the
SSRs
month,
actually
the
had
next Dokkan
fir-
Fest was
first battle.
released in the form of Turles, and he was
Oh,
the first
Dokkan Fest
AGL type
Turles.
Dokkan Fest
I
since
remember when he
Super
came out.
17
He was actually a
exactly
really
1
good
year
support
ago.
unit.
Turles gave 3 key and 150%
You have 3 key,
to stats to
40%
movie
attack to
bosses
all
category
allies.
characters, which consists
And
of the
he,
main antagonists from the various Dragon Ball movies,
yeah, he also
and
did
3
introduce
key and
movie
50%
bosses.
to stats to extreme class characters. Turles was a crazy support unit. He gave all allies 3 key and 40% attack, and reduced superclass enemies' attack by 15%. He was one of the most powerful support units ever, and was a must-run on every team. Additionally, when HP was 80% or less, Turles had a 25% chance of activating the Fruit of the Tree of Might boost for 3 turns. Once transformed, Turles recovered 15% HP, gained 130% attack and defense at the start of turn, and lowered superclass enemies' defense by 80%.
He was meant to hit pretty
He was
hard.
considered more valuable in base, but could do decent damage once transformed, while having a 50% chance to stun on super. The next day, Dokkan teased yet another demo for April Fools. They jokingly teased a dating simulation mode known as Dragon Ball
Wait,
Z
wait, wait, wait,
Dokkan
wait,
Battle,
wait, wait, wait,
and
wait,
then
go.
jokingly teased a dating simulation.
What the fuck is this? Oh my god, this was an
Known as Dragon Ball
interesting
Z
April
Dogs
Fool's
Battle,
joke.
and ended up giving all players a Dragon Ball Heroines trophy card as compensation.
Please don't tell me y'all sold. Please don't tell me.
Giving all players a Dragon Ball Hero.
Don't tell me y'all sold this unit. Please don't tell me you did. If I remember, you could either sell this or increase super attack levels with this. If not, you were able to sell it, but if you still have it, I would not recommend selling. It's a collectible, please. But what a funny April Fool's joke.
A week later, they released the EZA for physical full power Frieza. His
Oh,
attack buff stayed the same, but he now gained 3 key and 30% defense as the first attacker in a turn, and also raised his defense by 30% for 3 turns on Super.
so he didn't get that
However,
much defense
Frieza
though.
wasn't a movie boss's character, so to further flesh out the category, they released a new double race banner featuring 2 new SSRs and a new unfeatured LR.
Oh,
Beerus and
fuck.
Whis gained 80% attack.
Oh wait,
and
he.
after
Oh,
receiving
that's
an
right.
attack,
He's super
they gained an
ECA'd.
additional 60% attack and
Oh
defense for
my
5
god,
turns.
I'm glad you're
They
talking
hit
about him,
quite hard
bro.
once their passive was fully
I'm
activated.
so glad you're talking
The
about him right
first
here.
attack they received could end up hurting them quite a bit. To compensate for this, Beerus and Whis recovered 7% HP on their 12 key super and 12% HP on their 18 key.
Also, is this
They
the
were a
first kind of leader
powerful
skill that
LR
was being
and a good
released?
option
Like
on
the
the
4 key
movie boss's
100%?
team.
I think it was.
However, the new banner unit SSRs released alongside Beerus and Whis were far more interesting to players. Imp Beerus was a decent damage dealing unit.
He's a nuker.
But Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Bulma was
Oh
one
my
of the hardest
god,
hitting units
guys,
in the game.
they still have
They
not
gained
ECA'd this
100%
unit
attack and
yet.
defense, and possessed the ability to counter normal attacks just like Super Vegito. These two units were actually released on Global First in the middle of January.
Oh,
and
that's
Vegeta and Bulma were
right.
the hardest hitting TUR in the game on
True.
Global. On JP, they were the 6th hardest hitting TUR in the game, while only being under a double 120% lead. On a hypothetical double 170% attack lead, Vegeta and Bulma would become the 3rd hardest hitting TUR in the game, and would
Hypothetically.
output more damage than most summonable LRs. They were a busted banner unit that was competing with the top Dokkan Fest in terms of power, and that wasn't even all they had to their kit. Just like Tech Beerus, this unit would enter into a rage mode when HP was 30% or less.
And this
became
guy could super
invincible for one
consistently.
turn. This was a fantastic ability in Super Battle Road, and Vegeta and Bulma instantly became the best banner unit in the game.
True.
For Golden Week, Evolution Blue Vegeta made his
Oh, so
upgraded
that's when he
debut
came out. I was
into
like,
the
when
game as
was
a
he coming out?
transforming unit,
And
his
during
banner was
Dokkan
very
Weekend
special.
on this
Starting
banner as
with
well.
This banner, the 10th character in every multi-summon was guaranteed to be an SSR, marking one
I
of the
thought it
most
was
game-changing
much
updates in
later.
Dokkan. Vegeta was the leader for the Pure Saiyans category.
I thought it was much later,
consisting
not
of
this
characters who
early.
are pure
Oh
Saiyan
wow.
by birth.
Okay.
This does not include Saiyans that were created by unnatural means, such as the Potara fusion.
You know, one thing that he did mention was, yeah, 10 slot SSR guaranteed did happen in 2018, but I thought it was somewhere around August, huh? Not when he came out. This might have been a JP thing before Global got theirs, which maybe was what which I was like, wait, that's not right. I don't remember that. Well, now I do apparently.
The fusion dance. This is why characters such as Gogeta and Vegito are unfortunately not on the category, as they are not pure Saiyans, despite being full-blooded Saiyans.
Yeah, that's probably the most
Vegeta
BS
was
thing I
quite
would have
good in
ever heard
base.
from
He gained
that, but I
120%
guess they're
attack
keeping
and
it that way.
60% defense at the start of turn, and launched 2 additional normal attacks. Furthermore, for every attack performed, he
Oh no, I think this was
7%
before they
defense up to a
updated the
maximum of
categories and all
70%.
that.
This allowed Vegeta to reach impressive defensive stats as the fight went on, and he was quite tanky compared to other Dokkan.
And he was
vets.
and his transformation was
Vegeta,
passive based,
however,
right?
had a very vexing transformation condition. He had a 30% chance of evolving into Evolution Blue Vegeta,
Which
starting
fucking
from turn
sucks.
4, meaning it was
It
completely
sucked to
up
transform, but
chance
he was
whether
very
Vegeta
good after that.
transformed. He was really strong if he was able to transform, as he gained 130% attack and defense, built up crit chance by 10% with every attack up to 70%, and launched 2 additional normal attacks. He was an offensive
Oh,
behemoth,
no
and his
guaranteed
damage
supers, by the
transform
way.
was up there
No
with the
chances
top
to supers.
TURs.
Just
Jiren
2
also
additionals.
received a Dokkan Awakening, but many people were disappointed since he only gained a 10% increase to stats in his passive. The only new addition to his passive was that he now performed guaranteed crits if the enemy was stunned.
That's the reason why he has a
STR
chance to
Topo
stun.
also saw an awakening into
Topo was
God
really good
Topo
back then.
from
He was
Vegeta's
really good
Dokkan
just
event
because of his
Menace.
support.
He was now one of the better support units in the game, giving all allies 35% attack and defense.
Yep, that's right.
Moving on to the month of mid. In the middle of May, Dokkan released
Month
LR
of mid?
Bardock
Wait,
on
wait,
his
month
banner.
of mid?
Bardock was quite underwhelming, as he was the weakest hitting summonable LR.
Okay, yeah, you're not.
Gained 70%
He's not
stats,
wrong.
and a measly
We were
30%
expecting him to
attack when
super
attacking with
EZA
18 or more
sometime
ki.
this,
He was
let's
good
call it,
defensively in Super Battle
during
Road,
Sunday
due
or
to
Golden
getting
Week?
60%
No,
defense
Goku
when
Day.
facing 2 or more
But that
enemies,
didn't happen.
But that wasn't enough to impress most players. Unfortunately, the next Dokkan Fest was equally disappointing.
Future
Physical Super
Gohan?
Saiyan
Wait,
Future
no,
Gohan.
no, 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 no.
Gohan led the
He
Future
technically
Saga
wasn't
category
mid.
and gained up to 100% defense the less HP you had remaining, as well as 10% damage reduction at the start of each turn, up to a maximum of 50%. He was catered towards longer events, despite the hardest content in the game being Super Battle Road, which
Okay,
only
yeah, that's
lasted
true,
for a
because
couple of turns.
Super Battle Road
His
is a
offensive
fairly
numbers were
short
also not
content
as high as you would like, being
event.
a mediocre damage dealer that wasn't well suited to the difficult content out right now. though he had the potential to see a resurgence if longer events were to be rreleased. Around this time, we also got the third Prime Battle at
Oh,
LAR,
yeah, that's
Super Saiyan Future
right.
Trunks. He wasn't as groundbreaking as LR
I don't think I
Goku
farmed
and
for
LR
this guy
Frieza
for a
were on
while, too.
release, but he was effective in
I
Super
just can't wait
Battle
for your
Road,
Super ECA to come
gaining
out.
8 ki and 20,000 attack and defense when facing 2 or more enemies. Tech Perfect Cell was due up for his EZA a week later, and he was the best EZA
He was
we
pretty
had
good,
seen
actually.
yet.
I liked
He
him.
now gained 15% attack and defense for every key sphere obtained,
Which, if
and
you were
recovered
to,
10%
get
HP
Tech
on
Orbs,
Super.
he would
He
heal
was reaching
dramatically
impressive stats with
well.
6 or more key spheres, and gained an additional 1 key per rainbow key sphere obtained, which allowed Cell to super attack more consistently.
True.
Almost a year later, JP finally received the Otherworld Warrior SSRs.
Oh, God.
And for whatever reason, Pikkon was now INT instead of STR. They were also slightly buffed compared to their global counterparts.
True.
But at this point, they were nothing special. On June 25th,
Okay, he just fucking glazed over this shit. I've talked about this before. Minor differences between... I'm sorry, Shikra, but you glazed over this too quickly, man. You did mention that Pycon was int, but you did not mention that both of these units are shattering the limit. I think you mentioned this in maybe their initial release on global specifically, but I would mention it here too, man. But yeah, both of these guys had shattering the limit compared to the global counterparts, which I feel like is stupid in my opinion. Yeah, they did buff their stats, which is fine, I know, because I did a showcase on all 4 of them. But I feel like they could have been the same. Just out of pure crazy and stupidity, they should have made them the same. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact.
But at this point, they were nothing special. On June 25th, Dokkan introduced one of the most requested updates ever.
What was this update?
Summon animations.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Down, various Z fighters could now fly in alongside Goku.
Oh man, the Hercule flying in would be missed.
Vegeta flew in, there was a chance to fuse into Super Vegito or Vegito Blue, guaranteeing a Dokkan Fest or LR character respectively.
True.
Along with the
I
introduction
think Vegito Blue guaranteed you guaranteed new Dokkan Fest, right?
To sell and exchange up to 99 characters at once instead of just 10, while also improving the friend system.
Oh, thank God they did that.
Characters on the select friend page by type and category, making it easier to find the friend leader they wanted. Additionally, this update added the friend supporter function. Before this, the unit displayed at the front of your home screen would automatically
oh my God, that was so helpful back then. That was helpful. Thank God they added that.
At the start of July, Dokkan held its first official Tanabata campaign. Every July 7th, Japan celebrates a holiday known as Tanabata or Star Festival, where people write their wishes on colorful paper strips and hang them on bamboo branches. Starting this year, Dokkan began holding a massive campaign around this time, featuring a major summonable unit. The headliner for this year's Tanabata celebration was full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
God, they put him on that. That's right. A great way to get the 3rd anniversary LRs, honestly. But he's also not too bad, if I remember correctly.
Gained up to 70% attack and defense the more HP you had remaining. Simply put, if you were at 70% HP or higher, he would outperform his STR counterpart, with STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku doing more damage once your HP was below 70%. Many people were
But I think, no wait, was his name different? I think it was, so you can actually link up Super Saiyan 4 Goku with him.
Was a complete mess. He introduced the full power category into the game, which includes characters that use the absolute limit of their power that they possessed at that time. This vague concept of a category resulted in several notable omissions, such as LR Majin Vegeta, and overall the team wasn't very cohesive.
Yeah,
this
true.
campaign also came with the return of Purunga Wishes.
Oh, that's right.
As a new item known as Wish Strips. These wish strips allowed players to recruit for
which, by the way, were technically shit back then. It was good on the initial release because 2018, if you needed SSRs, this was probably the best time.
Was also held 2 days later. and
Oh
they
yeah,
came
if
with
you
a
needed
new
units for Dokkan
battlefield
Battlefield,
alone,
this was also a good time as
Metacoolon
well.
Army. Their leader skill
Oh,
was the
oh
counterpart to
boy.
LR Vegito Blues,
Oh
giving
my
3
god.
key and 70% to
What
stats
a
for extreme
time when
class
this guy came
allies.
out, or
They
when this
gained up
unit
to
came out.
90% attack and
Very
defense
good
the
unit,
more
by the way.
HP you had remaining, and launched
But
an
not
additional attack that had a
truly right now,
10%
but you could
chance of
probably use it for
becoming a
Battlefield.
super, as well as a high chance of launching another attack that had a 10% chance to be a super. This unit was boasting great stats while having the ability to super attack up to 4 times within a turn. He was easily the best extreme class free-to-play unit, and was on the same level as LR Vegito Blue. More exciting news followed on July 19th, when Dokkan released 10 additional Super Battle Road stages.
Oh
Stages
boy.
11 and 12 were limited to Super and Extreme class units respectively,
Oh
with the
boy.
remaining 8 stages being limited to specific categories. The most notorious stage of the batch was the Realm of God stage, largely due to the need to rely on UI Goku's 70% dodge chance against a massive number of hard-hitting enemies.
Oh
These new
god.
stages also came with a new reward card. Goku had an even better all-types leader skill than the previous Super Battle Road LR, giving all allies 3 key and 100% stats. He was a strong support unit for superclass allies, giving them 2 key and 30% attack and defense.
His ECA made
as
him
well
better
as an
though.
additional 20% attack and defense when HP was 50% or less. Combined with his medium chance to dodge, Goku was a legitimate option in difficult events,
True.
and he was a worthy reward card for completing these new stages. At the end of the month, we received the next Dokkan
Oh my
Fest,
god,
Physical
yo,
17 from
Dokkan
the Tournament
Fest
of Power.
MVP
17 was the
17?
leader for Android's category
Shit.
characters, and was a
We even got
support unit
Majin
on
Android
par with
21.
Turles. He gave all allies a massive 3 key and 60% to defense. He made
Oh,
every
that's
unit
huge,
next
that's
to him
right.
better defensively, making him a must-run on every team just like Turles. He also reduced damage received by 40% when HP was
Let's run him on Tournament of
77%
Power or
less,
Androids.
making him a solid tank in his own right. Unlike Turles, 17 was also capable of doing decent damage, as he gained 120% attack when attacking with 12 or more ki. Alongside MVP 17, they also held a Dragon Ball FighterZ collab
Oh yeah, because Dragon Ball
campaign
FighterZ
and
released in
released 2 new
2018.
banner units.
No, that makes
Tech
more
Android
sense.
16 and STR Android 21.
Yup, that's right.
16 was a strong tank, especially on the Android's team, as he raised defense by 30% for each Android category ally on the team, up to a maximum of 90%. Combined with his high chance to dodge and 80% defense boost at the start of turn, 16 was a fantastic defensive option for 17's team.
True.
STR-21 was a transforming unit who had a medium chance to transform into Evil 21 starting from turn 4, provided your HP was 50% or higher. She had solid start of turn stats, could heal HP, and lowered the enemy's attack and defense, making her a decent pick for Super Battle Road. To further buff the Androids team, they released a new
LR
legendary
Cell?
summon banner featuring Perfect Cell and Cell Juniors. LR Cell was a Super
LR
Battle Road
Cell and
killer.
Cell Juniors.
Not
Oh
only
my
did
god, he
have
was
an
made.
attack
He
of
was
12
made
key
for
super,
SBR
he
specifically.
also gained an additional 1 key and 10% attack per existing enemy. Combined with his start of turn 90% attack buff, Cell was capable of obliterating an entire wave of enemies on his own. If you used attack boosting items or were able to proc an additional super attack from his hidden potential, it wasn't uncommon to see LR Cell kill an entire phase in Super Battle Road in one turn. He was alright in regular Dokkan events, but he truly shined in events with multiple enemies. The final thing to know is that in the middle of August, they held a campaign to
that's
commemorate
right.
the upcoming release of the Dragon Ball Super
That's
Broly
right.
movie.
This was
They released
about
a
a
limited
few
time
months. This was like
Extreme Z battle against
4
Wrathful
months
Broly.
before
And while there was no easy types
Dragon
of
Ball
the
Super
event,
Broly came
players
out.
were able to acquire 30 stones and a massive amount of hidden potential orbs of every
Oh, I
type.
did this. I remember this.
However, just like this time last year, people's attention was quickly shifted elsewhere. The countdown images to the 250 million download celebration once again teased a Namek Saga themed celebration. But unlike the 3rd anniversary, players knew that there was no misdirection this time around. And that was because the community was presented with the most elaborate leaks in the history of the game.
Oh no
revealing every single
way.
character and event
Do I
coming
remember this? I
long
think I
before the
did.
celebration even started.
Wow, I forgot about. Wow.
このフリーザと勝負になると思っているのか
Frieza, if I win, you've got to drop the grudge and promise to be our ally during the Tournament of Power.
Wow. Oh shit, that's right.
The headliners for the 250 million download celebration were leaked to be transforming Goku and transforming Frieza several days before the celebration officially began. These units had the
This
ability to transform up to 4 times within battle, with
multi-transforming
Goku progressing through
unit.
his Super Saiyan forms and culminating in Super Saiyan Blue, while Frieza went through his transformed states up to Golden Frieza. Not only were the Dokkan Fest themselves leaked, but so was every single aspect of the 250 million download celebration.
Yup, that's
The
right.
kits of every new unit scheduled to release, along with all upcoming events and rewards, were revealed
Oh
in
my
great detail by a
God.
group of credible leakers within the community.
Kawaii, I
This was an
seriously and Team
unprecedented event
Dokkan
that
are.
took their player base by storm, and leaks on this scale would never be replicated again in the game's history.
Yup.
The
These
concept of
guys.
units possessing multiple
These
transformations
guys
got players
know
very excited,
information
bringing back the same hype
like
feeling
that.
people received from powering
If
up
I see, if you
mid-battle
see a
like in
tweet
the
from any of
Budokai.
those three regarding
However,
Dokkan,
this same
it was
concept
pretty
also
much
made players
90
skeptical
to
on how these
99%
units would
spot on.
perform in practice. Goku and Frieza transformed to their next states at the start of each turn, meaning the earliest you could possibly see Blue Goku and Golden Frieza was turn 9, and no event in the game lasted that long. In their initial forms, they gained 80% attack and defense at the start of turn.
Keep in mind they
with
stack
Goku
and they
having
transform every
21%
turn.
damage reduction, and Frieza recovering 11% HP at the start of turn. With each subsequent transformation, they raised attack by 10% and defense minus 20%, and their damage reduction and healing was increased by 1%. To balance out the defense loss in their passive, Goku and Frieza stacked attack and defense by 20% on Super in their initial
Which still
4
technically
states,
isn't enough to where
meaning
they are
their
now,
defense would stay
actually.
relatively the same, while their offense continued to soar. In their final forms, Goku and Frieza ended up gaining 120% attack, as well as 25% damage reduction and a 15% heal respectively. Furthermore, for their
They
first
crit, right?
appearance, Blue Goku and Golden Frieza gained 12 ki and performed a guaranteed critical hit, allowing them to hit like a truck the turn they came out. While Goku was tankier than Frieza, Frieza was considered slightly better due to the massive stats he gained from his links, and he was a more
True.
valuable unit on his teams than Goku was for his teams. Goku's key links also changed as he transformed, switching from prepared for battle to over in a flash in his Super Saiyan 3 and God states, which negatively impacted the synergy between your units. The biggest strength these units possessed, however, was their versatile leader skills, giving Super and Extreme class allies 3 ki and 120% to stats. They had unrestricted versions of Tech Vegito Blue and STR Rose's leader skills,
Yeah.
making them the go-to leaders for many players. Goku and Frieza were very powerful, but they didn't truly start to look impressive until they reached their 3rd or 4th forms, which you only saw at the very end of the fight. Both units were decent in Super Battle Road, but could take big damage from enemy supers in their initial
Oh,
states.
true.
They weren't considered exceptional cards, and were simply good, reliable units on release. During the countdown period, they renewed the Friend Summon banner and added a new
The
SR
LR
that could
Great
be
Saiyan
Dokkan
Man
Awakened
1
all
and
the way into an
2.
LR. Great Saiyan Man 1 and 2. This unit had a decent leader skill, giving superclass allies 100% stats when all 5 super types were present, but gave no increase to ki. They possessed really strong support, giving superclass allies 4 ki and 50%
That is where their
defense,
key went, actually.
making them borderline a must-run on every team. Their grind was hell, requiring medals from the hero extermination of
We don't talk about the fucking. I don't know why they never updated that event specifically. Because that event is a literal hellscape for trying to even get the medals. Trust me. I don't even want to try to attempt those again. I don't want to, honestly. And if they put if they have a new unit that requires those medals, I'm gonna be like, bro. At this point, you might as well just update it. Because it sucks. The event is good to get the medals, but the drop rates just suck. please update it. Please, Dokkan, for the love of hell. The events have been there since like 2016, 2017. Update it, please. It's not really that difficult to just add maybe like increased drop rates or whatever, but still.
Event, which had extremely low drop rates. Just like the 200 million download celebration, the 250 million download celebration had a special ticket banner that featured Dokkan Fest characters up until Super Saiyan 3.
Oh yeah, Global and
Part.
JP had different
The
what's called
Global versus
differences, right?
JP reward cards were Super Saiyan Namek Goku
Who
and
I
Final
forget who
Form
won. I think it
Frieza,
was didn't
and the
JP win
Global
this
version
one?
ended up winning the
Oh,
competition
Global
this time
won.
around. They also released a new special event known as Launch's Treasure Hunt,
Which was
allowed
great.
players
10
to
stones
obtain 10
every
stones
day.
every day for a week. Combined with the special missions that gave out 10 stones a day for 7 days, players were able to acquire 140 Dragon Stones in total.
It was huge.
The banner units for transforming Goku and Frieza were Kaioken Goku and Final Form Frieza.
Oh,
These two
they were
were
pretty
capable of
decent
dealing
actually.
insane damage, with Frieza being a fantastic linking partner for transforming
Yeah,
Frieza.
that's about
and
right.
capable of dishing out 3 million plus attack stats, which was higher than most Dokkan Fests at the time.
True.
Just like Kid Gohan during the 3rd anniversary, they released a new Piccolo unit that had his own hidden potential orbs and Easy A event. Piccolo could transform by assimilating with nails starting from turn 5.
Oh, I
and he
recently
was an
used him in
absolutely
Dokkan
incredible
Frontier.
free-to-play unit. He was
was
solid
totally great.
defensively in base, but once transformed, Piccolo was one of the best free-to-play tanks in the game, and could also deal decent damage with several rainbow orbs. Furthermore, he healed 30% HP on his initial turn once transformed, and recovered 18,000 HP per rainbow key sphere, allowing you to heal massive amounts of health.
Just wait till he ECA'd.
Just as the leaks had
No,
outlined,
that's his ECA'd
Part 2
actually.
came with a
I'm
new
stupid.
Extreme Z battle raid against full power Jiren. This event was
He
similar
didn't
to
come
the
out
3rd
till later,
anniversary
guys.
Namek Saga Extreme Z
That
battle in
artwork,
terms
he
of
never actually
structure and
came out
rewards,
till
but no
later.
EZA character was attached to it. More importantly, for part 2, they released a new LR Goku and Frieza card from the finale
Yeah, that
of
shit
Dragon
was
Ball
that
Super.
unit was the
And this
fucking
LR
best
was
unit in the
by far
game
the
by
hardest hitting
far.
unit in the game. First off, they introduced the highest leader skill percentage into the game,
177%,
giving
right?
representatives of Universe 7 category allies 3 key and 177% to stats. They also gave 3 key and 90% to stats for tech type units, which allowed you to run type support Tien, who they shared
Yup.
over in a flash with. Goku and Frieza gained 77% attacking defense when attacking, 77% attack when attacking with 18 or more key, and an additional 77% attack when the enemy's attack was low.
So basically, they can hit
Both this
about
unit and
5
Tech
million,
TN lowered attack
5
with
to
their
10 million,
supers,
so
and
around that
Super
range if I
Battle Road
remember.
enemies, as well as the 5 most recent Dokkan events, were all susceptible to attack lowering. Furthermore, since all of their attack buffs were activated on Super, their 231% attack buff was multiplied by Tien's 40% attack buff at the start of turn, meaning they actually gained a staggering 363% attack boost. This was by far the most devastating rotation in the game, and LR Goku and Frieza dominated APT lists for a very long time.
Yep.
At the end of the month, they released one of the most
Oh
frustrating
yeah,
events
in
we
order
have
to
ever
compensate
seen,
players
the
actually
punching bag
pulling
event.
those guys,
This event came
they
with
brought out the
missions
punching
that
bag event, which I
required you to
have
deal
I wasn't able to complete until like
77.77 million
2019.
damage in a
It's like
single
maybe a
day
year or
without
two,
any
like a year
items.
actually.
This impossible challenge could only be completed by 2 units in the entire game on release. LR Goku and Frieza, and LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. However, these 2 units needed to have 1 or more dupes, and had to collect a full field of the same type of orbs under a double nuking lead. Furthermore, you only had 6 charge counts for each run in order to nuke the boss.
Thankfully,
On
this
top
event
of
still
that,
exists
you were
compared to
limited
the
2
Million
attacks
Arena
per
event.
stage every day, so you couldn't continuously reset for good RNG. And if that wasn't enough, the rewards for this event were split between the first 3 stages, with stage 1 giving you 70 million Zenny, stage 2 giving you massive amounts of potential orbs, and stage 3 giving you 59 Dragon Stones. This meant that you had to get lucky enough to deal 77.77 million damage on 3 separate stages in order to get all the rewards from the missions. An absolutely garbage event. The next
Oh,
Dokkan
trust
Fest
me.
release was transforming
We don't
Super
talk
Buu,
about that
and he
when
was
A Million Arena was also
unfortunately
out
very
too.
underwhelming. He introduced the transformation
Thankfully,
boost
this
category
event
into
is
the
a little
game,
more
which includes
doable than,
characters that gain a
technically a
boost
little
in
more
power
doable
through
than Million
transforming.
Arena.
This also includes units that have an in-game transformation mechanic, with the exception of AGL Turles. STR Buu gained 80% attack and defense at the start of turn, and that was it. He was a bare bones unit that offered absolutely nothing to the team.
Oh yeah,
except
wasn't
for
he
some
like
attack
the
lowering on Super.
worst unit?
He could transform starting from turn 5, and he absorbed a different character depending on your HP level. When HP was 49% or less, he absorbed Piccolo and became a defensive support unit that also healed 15% HP at the start
I
of
think,
turn.
if I remember correctly,
When
Piccolo
HP
was
was
definitely the
between
better
50%
choice to
and
go into compared to
79%,
Go
he
Tanks
absorbed
and
Gotenks and
Buhan.
became a mediocre offensive unit, needing to have the enemy's attack being lowered in order to get his extra offense. When HP was 80% or above, he absorbed Ultimate Gohan and closely resembled Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, with the extra bonus of healing 10% HP at the start of turn. Even if you were able to transform Super Buu, he was still very unimpressive, and was comparable to units that were released over a year and a half ago. Overall, one of the worst Dokkan Fest releases ever, and that won't be the last time you hear me say that in this video. Int Hercule was Super Buu's banner unit, and not only was he better than Super Buu, but he was also
He's
one
not
of the
wrong.
best defensive units in the game. He had a high chance
Damage
to
reduction
evade
and
enemies'
dodge.
attacks and reduce
That's
damage
amazing
received
right there.
by 50 to 90% depending on how low your HP was at the time. People didn't realize at the time, but Hercule was actually bugged and would stack his damage reduction when he was hit. After receiving one hit in battle, Hercule would have 100% damage reduction for the turn, and this bug wouldn't be rectified until many years later. A week later, Physical Kid Buu received an
Kid
EZA.
Buu's EZA was
He
actually
now
pretty
gave
decent.
2 ki on top of his 50% support, and when HP fell below 80%, he gave a weaker but still very good 30% attack and defense buff to all allies.
Which was not
He
bad.
was a staple support unit on many teams, and people would sometimes run him without a leader skill just to juice up LR Goku and Frieza. The Halloween free-to-play character this year was Super Saiyan Gotenks and Ghost.
Oh yeah, that's
He
right.
was a rainbow orb changer who had a high chance to stun on Super, making him a fantastic option for Super Battle Road, especially in the fusion category stage. At the end of the month, Dokkan Fest Metal
Cooler
made
was
his
actually
iconic
very
debut
good
into the game.
during his
He led
release.
the Wicked Bloodline category, which includes members of Frieza's family. Cooler gained 80% attack and defense at the
Technically
start of
chilled,
turn,
right?
and gained 10% attack per attack received, up to a maximum of 70%. He could hit very impressive numbers once fully built up, but his biggest strength was his giant form transformation. Just like AGL Tapion, when HP was 50% or less, Metal Cooler would enter into his giant form. Metal Cooler
Which
Core
was still pretty
greatly
good.
raised attack on Super temporarily, allowing him to do even more damage than Hirudegarn once transformed. He was a Super Battle Road killer, but what people remember most about Metal Cooler was his stunning animations. While LR Goku and Frieza were the first unit in the game to have animations that blew people away, Metal Cooler marked the turning point for Dokkan animations becoming modern.
Oh
He looked
yeah.
vastly better than every unit before him, and every Dokkan Fest unit released after Cooler would boast good-looking animations. The free-to-play type Metal Coolers also received Dokkan Awakenings,
Oh,
and they were the
fuck
new
me,
best
that's
free-to-play
right.
team in the game. A team led by Dokkan Fest Metal Cooler, and all 5 type Metal Coolers could clear every Dokkan event in the game, and was even
even
capable of
funnier.
taking on some
What's even
Super
funnier is that
Battle
they
Road
also Dokkan
stages.
awakened them later on.
Alongside the Metal Coolers, they
And
released the
EZ'd him
4th
too.
Prime Battle LR, Super Saiyan Vegeta.
Did I
He had a
complete this
phenomenal
on
leader skill,
the first
giving
run?
3 ki and
during its
70%
initial release?
stats for pure
I don't
Saiyans
remember.
category
I think I
allies.
did.
He was better than
No,
Prime
actually I
Battle
didn't.
Super Saiyan
No, I was
Trunks,
able to
but not
get
as
his
good as
dupes,
Prime
but I
Battle
wasn't able
Goku
to
and Frieza
fully
on
rainbow
release.
or fully get him
Tech
done.
Beerus was the next EZA, and he was disgustingly powerful. He
was
now
very
gained
good.
80% attack and defense, and gained 40% attack for 4 turns after receiving an attack. Just like Metal Cooler, his extra attack buff from being hit was multiplicative, meaning Tech Beerus actually gained 152% attack for 4 turns. Combined with his crazy high EZA stats, Tech Beerus was dealing a shit ton of damage.
Yup.
And his Fury mode can now activate twice per battle when HP was 40% or less. In the middle of November, we received various buffs to the Peppy Gals category via a new
They're adding
SSR
two more
written as
two
well
more
as
Peppy
awakenings
Gals
for
units.
numerous Peppy Gals characters. We also received some great quality of life updates that added labels, a search function for characters, and a
Oh,
button that
I
took you to
forgot
a
about
Dokkan
that.
event
Actually, I
straight from the
forgot
metal
when.
tab.
I know they added it.
More
I just forgot when.
interestingly, they released a new Dragon Ball Heroes
Oh,
collab
dude,
banner
all of them
featuring
were
7 new SSRs,
Super. The Super
with
Saiyan 3 units were
standouts
very
being
good.
Super Saiyan 3 Xeno Goku and Dark Masked King, due to being the best defensively out of the
And then
batch.
Supreme Kai Time was the best
Super
support
Saiyan 3
unit.
Vegeta's EZA ended up being very disappointing, as he barely changed post-EZA.
He
was
just had higher
already a
stats
very
and more
competent
damage
tank
reduction.
beforehand, and his EZA really only gave him increased stats to help him take hits slightly better. Overall, one of the worst Dokkan Fest releases ever, and that won't be the last time you hear me say that in this video. Transforming Goku Black was one of
We
the
don't-
worst Dokkan Fest releases.
We don't talk about this mother right here. I'll be honest. Upon release, he was shit. And Easy 8, he was also shit. So I can't believe they shit on him not once but twice. Oh, what's gonna happen next? When he super ECAs, he's gonna shit on again? He better not, I swear. But yeah, this was the worst worst Dokkan Fest ever. At least he was the number one worst Dokkan Fest compared to Super Buu, let's be honest.
Ever. He gained 40% attack at the start of each turn, up to a maximum of 120%, and gained a 5% chance to crit up to a maximum
Oh yeah,
of
keep in mind there's no
40%
indicators
with
of
every attack received.
attack
First
of
off, this
stats
unit
or
had like a
what's called
wet
numbers
noodle his first
increasing
2 appearances,
at this
and
time.
once he was fully built up by turn 5 and onwards, his damage was only solid for a Dokkan Fest TUR. He gained no defense in his passive, and possessed no defensive
The only defense he
mechanics
got was
either.
basically through his links
Instead,
and his super
they
attack.
gave him the ability to stack defense by 50% on super, but he didn't build up nearly fast enough to tank hits from the tough bosses. Luckily, Goku Black had a very easy transformation condition. Goku Black had a garbage transformation condition, transforming starting from turn 6 when HP was 80% or higher. Just like the later
Had great
forms of
animations, by the way.
Goku and
Just a
Frieza, you
shitty
would pretty much
passive.
never see Goku Black transform. And even if you did reach turn 6, you still had an annoying HP condition you had to satisfy. He was a pretty good damage dealer once transformed.
Good
gaining
support,
150%
shitty
attack
unit.
and a 50% chance to crit at the start of turn. But
And
he
he's
still
still
didn't gain
shit
any
today,
defense
come
from his
on.
passive. Similarly to future Gohan, this unit was mysteriously designed for longer events, despite all the hardest content in the game lasting 4 to 5 turns on average. His 2 saving
Well, this was before the
graces were his
legendary Goku
incredible
event.
animations and good time travelers category leader skill. A week later, Dokkan one-upped themselves with Tech Beerus by releasing the most busted EZA unit to date.
He was really
Janemba.
good.
Janemba now gained 70% attack and defense, as well as an additional 40% attack for 4 turns after guard is activated. He hit about as hard as EZA Beerus, while also being one of the best tanks in the game. He was unbelievably good.
I guess
and
that's
was
how you
very
make up for
dominant
the
in Super Battle
for the
Road.
stupidity coming
The
from
next day,
Goku Black.
The 27th World Tournament
We don't talk
introduced
about the
a
World
new
Tournament.
local ranking at
I'm
large,
kidding.
Yamcha and Puar.
Oh,
This unit
Yamcha and Puar
introduced the
weren't too
Joint
bad if I
Forces
remember.
category into the game, consisting of units that feature 2 or more characters, as well as the AND symbol in their card name. This category consisted of some of the most powerful units in the game, but Yamcha and Puar were mediocre. A
Yeah.
few days later, Update 4.1 introduced the Portal of Memories, allowing players to challenge past
that's
events by
right.
using keys, with different
Being able
types
to
of
go
keys
back and
corresponding
actually
to
do the
different
events.
kinds of
I still have a
events.
lot of them,
On
by the way.
December 14th, they released a double race banner that actually featured a new LR. LR
I kinda
Trunks
regret
and
something
Mai
on that
gained
banner.
70% attack at the start
Kinda
of turn,
do.
and 10% attack and defense per Future Saga category ally on the team. They also gained 6 ki and a high chance to evade enemies' attack when facing a Future Saga category enemy. They were pretty good only on a Future Saga team, and were clearly designed for later Super Battle Road stages that would have future Saga category enemies. However, this double rates banner was a massive trap set by the developers. The increased chances to pull an LR character enticed many players to summon, despite the community knowing that the two most hyped banners to date
I made a
were
mistake on
just
that banner,
beyond the horizon.
but those guys. Oh, dude.
そろそろ本番スタートさせるからな
Dude, these guys were insane.
おめえは確実に消滅する
Transforming Broly and transforming Gogeta descended as a dual Dokkan Fest at the end of the month.
Dude, these
They
guys
were
were
the first units on
gods.
JP to lead two different categories, and both were easily the best TURs in the game. Broly gave movie bosses category allies 3 key, 170% attack, and 150% to HP and defense, as well as full power category allies 3 key, 170% attack, and 130% to HP and defense. His team consisted of powerhouses such as AGL Turles,
Yup.
Int Janemba,
Yup.
LR Broly,
Yup.
and LR Goku and Frieza.
Yup.
Broly was also an attack-all unit, making his team by far the best team for World Tournament. He gained 6 key, 130% attack, and 100% defense. He was a bit squishy in base, and quite lackluster offensively if he wasn't facing multiple enemies. But thankfully, Broly had a very simple transformation condition.
Turn 4.
He transformed into full power Broly starting from turn 4 and became a beast of a unit. He gained 8 key, 188% attack and 120% defense, and launched an additional attack that had a high chance of becoming a super.
That's
He
pretty
was
good.
obliterating enemies with a barrage
That's how
of
good a
super
unit is.
attacks, and was easily one of the hardest hitting units once transformed.
Yep.
Unsurprisingly, however, Gogeta was an even greater monster than Broly. He gave the
That's
same
why I pulled
stat
for him
buffs as
first.
Broly, but for movie heroes and
I
fusion
think I got him like 2
category
multis.
allies, respectively. And his team too possessed some of the strongest units in the game. Super Saiyan Gogeta gained 100% attack and defense, was super effective against all types, and had a medium chance to dodge. He possessed a great balance of offense and defense in his kit, and he was better than most TURs in just his base form. He transformed into Blue Gogeta a turn later than Broly on turn 5, referencing the order in which they transformed in the movie.
True.
Blue Gogeta was undisputedly the strongest TUR in the game. He now gained 130% attack and defense, had a high chance to evade attacks, and performed a guaranteed critical hit. He was the first unit in the game to have a 100% chance to crit at all times, which skyrocketed Gogeta's damage to astronomical levels.
Yep.
Gogeta was without question the number 1 TUR, with Broly trailing close behind at number 2. Gogeta and Broly each also came with 2 new banner units. Tech God Goku was a busted card. Not only was he a Rainbow Orb Changer, he gained 77% damage reduction when facing a movie boss's category enemy, making him invincible while he had that part of his passive active. STR God Vegeta was
So they're
unfortunately
basically
nowhere near
made
as
to
good
go
as
against
Goku,
movie
and was
bosses,
a solid
which was
unit
pretty
at
common at that
best.
time.
Paragus and Broly were a good support unit, but unfortunately, they weren't under Broly's leader skill, and suffered from a severe lack of categories in general. AGL Wrathful Broly surprisingly received an EZA just a day later, and was a very powerful unit on par with Dokkan Fest released this year. Broly gained 70% attack
I feel
and
like the
defense,
issue-
and gained 1 key at the start of
I feel like the issue with them ECAing like brand new units like one day to like a week after is what's called their lifespan. I prefer to have a great unit on release already, and then later on if they need to be buffed, they're going to get buffed. This is like one main example of that. Just saying. They've done this for free-to-play units too.
each turn.
But thankfully they've
he gained
what's
20%
called
attack for every attack received,
luckily
and
they
20%
actually sorry
defense for
thankfully
every attack
they're not
performed,
doing that.
up to a maximum of 80%. He raised attack and defense for 3 turns on Super, led the Pure Saiyans category for 120%, and also had both shocking speed and prepared for battle. Broly boasted incredible stats, while also linking well with both Super Class and Extreme Class units. These new free-to-play units also received an Easy A, and were some of the most powerful free-to-play TURs in the game, especially against movie bosses category enemies.
They were pretty
The
decent
Broly
too.
Movie Celebration batch of units were ridiculously good, and were must-haves for every player. But Dokkan wasn't done showing off. One of the leakers that leaked all of the information for the 250 million download celebration teased that the biggest banner in history would be dropping on New Year's, and players were absolutely floored by this news.
Oh
They
no.
had just released some of the most highly anticipated and best-selling banners ever, so surely there was no way that something even grander was about to be released, right?
Nope. It's just step up banners.
Dokkan released the first ever New Year's step-up banner, and the
Oh
value
my
of this banner
God.
certainly lived up to the hype. This banner consisted of 5 steps.
Well, keep in mind, Global and JP were still not synced up at that time. So they both have, of course, a lot of major differences. But it was still a really good banner to summon on. At the time, I would have recommended, actually, I have recommended summoning on this banner a few times here and there. But nowadays, I will only recommend it if you need units on there. Because we have a lot of good units coming out. And you have to consider at that time, anniversary is popping up. So that also factored in. So if you wasted all your stones on here, you better be prepared to have a lot of more stones coming up later for anniversary. Just putting it out there.
With each step guaranteeing a unit from a certain pool of characters. Step 1 cost 20 stones and gave out a Dokkan Fest character that could Easy A. Steps 2 and 3 cost 40 stones each, and guaranteed a Super Class and Extreme Class Neo God Leader respectively. Step 4 cost 50 stones and gave out a category leader up until MVP 17. And finally, Step 5 was also 50 stones, but guaranteed an LR up until LR Bardock. In total, you could get an LR character, a category leader, 2 Neo God Leads, and an Easy A Dokkan Fest character for only 200 stones.
Which is really
and you were
good.
able to do 2 rotations on the Step Up banner.
I think there
with
was...
all the previously mentioned
No,
characters
yeah,
also
yeah, that's 2
being in the
rounds. It's like, wait,
unfeatured
what?
pool on the banner. This was as Team
You could also get
Dokkan
multiple of
said,
them
the
actually,
greatest
and
banner
all
in
the LRs that
Dokkan
were
history, and perfectly
that were in
capped
there are
off a
also
very
unfeatured,
hyped
I
and
believe.
game-changing year
The
for
same thing
Dokkan.
also applies with Dokkan
The
Fest too.
first
The
new
Dokkan Fest were
unit
also
of
featured.
2019 was the Easy A for first anniversary Super Gogeta.
Oh
There
yeah.
was no way that Dokkan could have met the level of expectations the community had for his Easy A, but he still turned out to be pretty good. He gained 77% attack and defense, and an additional 7% attack per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained. He was out-damaging a Rainbow in Super Gogeta with just 1 dupe, while also being able to take hits more effectively. He was a strong Easy A, though nowhere near the same level as Janemba. A week before the countdown for the 4th anniversary began,
I wonder
authentic
how the
fan art
hell
started
we all
circulating,
fucked up
featuring
on this
LR
one.
Super
Okay.
Saiyan 4 Goku
I wonder how the
and
hell
LR
they
Super
fucked up on
Saiyan
that
4
for
Vegeta.
sure.
These were quickly dismissed to be fake, and a week later, the countdown campaign officially started.
Oh.
The countdown images hinted that the anniversary would be GT
Little did they
themed,
know
and
this was
4th
the actual
anniversary login
thing.
card featured Super Saiyan 4 Goku holding the 4-star Dragon Ball. With the anniversary headliners looking more and more like some sort of Super Saiyan 4 unit, players had no idea that the leaked card arts were actually real. In truth, we had known who was coming for the 4th anniversary over 2 weeks in advance, but players wouldn't realize it until the end of the month, when these game-changing LRs were finally unleashed.
Oh my god. You know, funny enough, 2 major events were leaked. Or actually, was it 2 or it was like about 2 or 3, which is insane, by the way. And the fact that the 250 million download celebration had basically the entire freaking celebration just all formatted and everything leaked out before they even dropped. Bro, what the fuck? Oh, I can't wait to see the 2019 version. But great job, Shikra. You did pretty good in this video. I did mention a couple things, but overall, a little bit of criticism, but overall, great video. Hell of a real. This 2018 was a hell of a year. Going from third year fusions to what you call it, int MUI Goku, who by the way is super EC8 and he is insanely good. JP finally getting LR Vegito, or actually everyone getting freaking LR Vegito Blue, because I think they wanted to release him at the same time for both versions, which makes sense, but they're still not synced at that time. What else was it? New summon animations. It is a little sad to see the old Hercule coming from the left going away, or Shenron even coming out actually going away too. It was a little sad to see them go, but we had to get something completely fresh. And they did update this, I believe, once or twice. Because they didn't add in the Whis animation. They didn't add in Beerus and Whis in the flying in, obviously. And of course, they didn't add in like the brand new versions of those as well. That was later on. But thankfully, they updated that. I didn't know it came out in like May, which is wild. Because I thought it would come out in August. But I think at that time, Global got this in August, so I guess it makes sense how I'm thinking about it. Tanabata came around, oh wow. And of course, the 250 million download celebration, the leaks, oh man. At least it wasn't controversial, thank God. I think all that stopped for a while. But holy, we don't talk about this mofo, by the way. We don't talk about Mr. I can't do I'm sorry. This is a funny release, and they still made him shit in his ECA. And then, of course, Dragon Ball Super Broly. The movie was insane. The promotion is crazy. And of course, you had to release Gogeta and Broly. Oh my god. Both. This was an insane year for Dokkan. But, of course, there were a lot more years later on down the line where it was even more crazier than that. But I'm glad I get to relive 2018. Because there are some things I wish I did not do. There's a couple things I wish I did not do. Like, pull on... what you call it? On LR Trunks and Mai. I can... if I did not pull on this banner, which I did, I actually did get them, I think, first multi. But I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't get them, but I guess I did anyways, and I still have them, and they're rainbowed. But, you know, I enjoyed it. Anyways, let me know how you guys feel about the Dokkan history of 2018. This is probably one of the other videos I'm releasing probably later on this week. But, yeah, this is one of my more memorable moments of Dokkan history, just because I've been playing a lot more actively on here compared to previous years before 2018. But I was still a little bit casual. I never made content during this year as well, so the fact I'm talking about it makes it more realistic in fact. But yes, I did experience this. So if you want to talk about it more, let me know. Anyways, I'll see you all on the next one.